So let's talk about sleep. How can you improve your sleep by just making small, subtle changes to it? If you have rhinitis, a stuffy nose, or if you breathe through your mouth, or if you wake up with a dry mouth in the morning, you're not likely to have a deep, refreshing sleep. And if you don't have a deep, refreshing sleep, your mind isn't as calm as what it should be. Your focus is going to be impacted. Your concentration is going to be impacted. I would say your happiness is going to be impacted. It's a very nice feeling when you wake up in the morning and you've got an absolute alertness and that you have a capacity to concentrate and even to read the subject matter, which could be a little bit technical, but you have that concentration. Now, for years, when I was going through school in university, I would wake up in the morning and I would have been exhausted, but I kind of learned to live with that. And then we're going into school as a school kid and we're expected to pay attention in a state of total exhaustion. It doesn't work. And in university it was the same. So for me to get my grades, I had to spend so much more hours studying than my peers. Not because I was stupid, but because I didn't have the concentration, because I didn't have the sleep. And why did I not have sleep? I didn't have sleep quality because I was a chronic mouth breather. When I first switched to nasal breathing, this was going back in 1998, and I closed my mouth for the first time. I was breathing through my nose and I was feeling suffocated. So for me to maintain nasal breathing during sleep, I wore breathe right strips over my nose, but I also wore tape across my lips. And that forced me to breathe through my nose during sleep. And within 2 days, I woke up feeling absolutely alert. I knew I was onto something, and I couldn't believe the difference. Now, in sleep circles, how many times is the importance of nasal breathing discussed? You cannot have good quality sleep if you're breathing through an open mouth. If you're waking up with a dry mouth in the morning, you're not getting that deep sleep that you should be. So the first thing that I would like to say to you is really make a conscious effort of breathing through your nose during sleep. Now I'm going to show you a tape that we often recommend just to wear across the lips. It's very comfortable, and if your nose is congested, do the nose unblocking techniques from the Oxygen Advantage. Put them into practice, because the more you breathe through your nose during the day, the more you will be able to breathe through your nose during sleep. So the tape that I'm going to use it's called lip seal tape. This is the tape which I rather like because it's cotton. I don't have a financial interest, by the way, in this company. I do know the owner, Dr. Frank Seaman, because he's attended our courses, and he's a dentist from Colorado in the United States, and he invented lip seal tape to help with his patients with bruxing. He found that he would repair their crowns as a dentist, but if they kept on grinding during their sleep, it was having a lot of problems in maintaining those crowns. So when he got his patients to start breathing through the nose using the tape, is when he started noticing quite a difference. So the tape goes as follows. You tear it off. There's a little kind of a plastic strip at the back of it, and dry your lips, and then it's easy enough to take off. You're waking up with tape on the lips in the morning. You'll find that your sleep is naturally deeper. And the other thing about nose breathing is that the architecture of the airway improves quite significantly. Your tongue has got two places to be. One, the tongue is either in the roof of the mouth or the tongue is falling back into the throat. And if the tongue is falling back into the throat, it's impairing and it's reducing airway size. And this is going to increase the risk of having a restriction to breathing during sleep, such as a reduction in the flow of breathing, which would be called an hypopnea, or you could completely stop breathing during sleep. So you might notice that somebody is snoring and then it's total silence. Well, that total silence could be because they have stopped breathing during sleep. It could be an obstruction, or it could be that the brain isn't sending the signal to breathe. Slightly more rare, essential apnea. Nose breathing, vitally important for diaphragmatic breathing. Diaphragm breathing increases lung volume, and when we're using more of our lungs, there's a stiffening of the throat. So the throat is less likely to collapse when we breathe through our nose, because the nose is connected with the diaphragm. And another aspect is that nose breathing tends to be more regular breathing. And regular breathing helps to maintain the gas carbon dioxide in the blood, at more regular levels. And carbon dioxide is the drive to breathe. If carbon dioxide is all over the place, because our breathing is all over the place, it can contribute to essential apnea where the brain doesn't send the signal to breathe. And also, carbon dioxide plays a role in that if carbon dioxide is low, the neural drive, the drive from the brain to the upper airway dilator muscles, these muscles in the throat which are designed to keep the airway open, the drive is reduced. So carbon dioxide in the blood plays some role in the functioning of these muscles in the throat. And carbon dioxide is not the only gas that plays a role with this. Nitric oxide does too. Even though the complete and full role of nitric oxide not completely understood, however, it is accepted that nitric oxide plays a role in sleep. And nitric oxide is coming from your nose, the nasal cavity, not from the mouth. The concentrations of nitric oxide from the nose are 50 to 200 parts per billion. The concentrations of nitric oxide from the mouth are 10 parts per billion. So when it comes to sleep, nose breathing is king. Harnessing nitric oxide, more stable breathing, the connection with the diaphragm, better likely to have correct tongue resting posture in the roof of the mouth. Sleep is deeper, less snoring, less obstructive sleep apnea, waking up more alert.